I included this game between Paul Morphy and his lifelong friend Charles Morian in a first book of Morphy to illustrate the dangers of making too many pawn moves in the opening. Black begins with 7 straight pawn moves, and 2 of them are quite doubtful. I also use this game in lessons because at the end of the game there's a very simple question, but students won't get it right unless they pay close attention to the position at hand. Chess is mostly an exercise in paying attention. If you don't pay attention when you cross the street, you get hit by a bus. If you don't pay attention when you wash the dishes, you scald your hand or cut your finger. If you don't pay attention to every single attacking move your opponent might make, it's that move which will bite you in the butt. Morphy played this game at queen-knight odds, but you'll find in positions like these, white benefits from playing without the queen-knight because it's easier for white to develop the queen-rook. The king's gambit is designed to help white gain control of the center by capturing the pawn on e5 or perhaps deflecting the pawn from e5. But white can't play d4 now because queen h4 would be a very mean check. So white first has to play knight f3 in preparation. Now this pawn on f4 is critical to this position because it hinders the white bishop from developing, which blocks the a1 rook in turn, and after white castles on the king side, this f4 pawn also blocks the white rook on f1. So this pawn is responsible for holding 2 rooks and 1 white bishop out of play. This isn't a 1-point pawn. This pawn's worth about 13 points, so black does well to prop it up. And after white plays bishop c4, black errs in playing g4 because this pawn structure, which held up this important 13-point pawn, loses its solidity. And the most important aspect of this position is that white can ignore the threat. So black has made 5 pawn moves now. The 6th one is good. d5 is a good move because black has to fight for control of the center and develop his queenside. But after bishop d5, black really ought to continue with knight f6 to develop the threat to swap that menacing bishop. c6 is a big mistake. White gains a powerful initiative now with a 3rd piece sacrifice. Remember, he started this game without the knight on b1. He sacrificed the 2nd knight on f3 and has just thrown a 3rd minor piece on f7. Queen h5 might not be the most accurate move in this position. Bishop f4 might be okay. Castling might have been okay. But queen h5 certainly makes the biggest possible threat. It might be too late for black to play knight f6 as a threatening development now because there's a check on h6 looming with bishop or queen. And queen d4 is out because that's going to lose the black queen to bishop e5 check. So black managed to find bishop e7, after which white sacrificed a few more pawns by castling first to give up the d4 pawn, and black continued to be greedy by gobbling up the e4 pawn. But after rook a e1, white's development is complete. Who cares about being 3 pieces down while the black queenside pieces are napping? black would love to trade queens here to blunt white's attack, but it's already built up too powerfully. Rook e7 is a strong breakthrough. Black mustn't play knight e7 now, because bishop h6 will lead to checkmate after king g8, rook f8, or the prettier queen h6, queen f7. This is the tabletop mate, because this little formation of black pieces plus white queen and black king make a little tabletop. Now, black can't capture the rook on e7, and after king f8, white brings his last two pieces. The f1 rook discovers, and the bishop to d6 threatens a discovery. After bishop d6, black resigned in view of, if he interposes with knight f6, white is going to wrap this up by rook f6, and then if queen f6, queen e8's mate. And then after king g8 and a couple captures on g6, black's only legal move is king f8. And here's the test of your attention skills. What's the number of moves white can play that make checkmate?